Hey,
How
what's
you
going
doing?
on? I'm guessing it's not your first rodeo. Some people don't know how to do the Instagram live thing, so
I don't do it a lot, but sometimes people ask me, and then it's obvious.
good to see you, buddy.
How you
Can you?
doing?
You'll be really pleased to know, that kind of glow on the right side here is like a lot of snow.
Oh
So
my
I know how much you
God!
appreciate that. I also can't play golf right
No,
now.
here the snow just disappeared. So can you imagine? For a week it was like -10, and today it is +10. So difference of
No
20
way.
degrees. Yes. And in the weekend it's going to be +16. So we're gonna go in shorts. It's unbelievable. All
It's
this
funny.
a week time. So the planet is going crazy.
So you're gonna go and get some golf reps in, I hope.
Today we played. Yes, the day the course was open, and
Oh,
all the greens, no winter greens. So the greens were fantastic. The
wow.
course itself was a little bit wet because now the frost is still a little bit into the ground, but
Yeah.
most is already gone. So I'm happy.
Good good enough for a golf addict like you though.
Yes, because whatever. What else can you do? So the only thing that I do is I go to the park to do my CrossFit things and everything with a PT.
Yeah, I wanted to say
And
the other day, you're looking
play.
pretty fit.
Yeah, I need to, because otherwise, if you stay home and do nothing, you get fatter and fatter. You sit all the time. You get in this mode. So for that
Yeah.
reason, I still do something. Good luck that my girlfriend is also very active. She wants to do the things that I want to do as well, and
Um,
so therefore we go a lot of times. We go to do our exercises.
that's very good. So when did you start playing golf? What was your?
Played golf in 1990.
Did you
Uh,
really? Where
no,
were you then? Oh, in Italy, right?
yeah, somebody gave me a bag of golf clubs. It was a leather bag. It was golf clubs of McGregor, Jack Nicholas McGregor, and persimmon drivers. So I still have them, the woods, and so it was a little bit different then. And I got them. I didn't start immediately, but I had them, and I was looking at them, and I went on a holiday in Italy, and there was a golf course close by. I went there, and then I met this English guy who gave me some lessons, and I was hooked. The moment that you hit
Oh
good,
yeah,
a good one, then it's gone.
that's right.
So, and then with Milan, everybody at Milan, a lot of them played golf.
Oh,
Something like
interesting.
7, 8 players were playing golf, but there was no golf course close to us. Unlucky, so we had to hit balls from the back of the pitches so that the groundsman couldn't see us. And so this is how we did it. And
You're the goat. You can do whatever you want, in my opinion.
yeah, but I'm very happy for you when you hit divots out of
No, that's right.
the ground. So, but I liked it. And also the golf course is beautiful where you go, beautiful places, especially Italy. There's a lot of
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
golf courses in the north of
Hmm.
Italy. And so that's what we did. I played with Marco from Basta, was also very keen. So most of the time we played together. We went somewhere and then we played some golf.
I used to live in Vienna, so we'd come down in the winter, like late fall or whatever, and play around Venice. There's some really nice courses around there as well.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard them. I never played there, but I heard there's some beautiful golf courses there. Yeah.
So you get to play your major every year. So we met at the Dunhill, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
is that does your whole golf year kind of revolve around peaking for St Andrews?
Yes. The problem is always that when you get to a tournament like that, I think it's the best event in the year by far. Any
It's
event, whatever,
unbelievable.
the
It's
Dunhill is the best thing. I think the people who organize it is an unbelievable event.
yeah.
I'm very grateful that I get invited all the time. Also, it's nice to know the people there, and all the players, all the amateurs there. We know each other, all the pros. It looks like a one big family. So to come there, it's fantastic. And what sometimes when you play a tournament like that, all of a sudden the nerves get in, you know. So
That's right.
I always say, I've played for 90,000 people, 100,000 people,
Millions who are pulling for you or against
yes,
you,
so
right?
stadium full and everything.
Yeah.
And then you got on St. Andrews, and then in your flight there is how many people? Maybe 1,500 people on the first tee. And then your name is there, and you get Mr. Guillet from the Netherlands on the first tee. And then you stand over the ball, and you only think, oh, hit this ball right, hit this ball, hit it well, hit it well. And you go, you think, oh, please.
Might happen.
Then you hit it well, you say,
Well, like the first tee be like the closest thing to taking a penalty, I would think.
Yes.
On some level, right? Because there's a little bit of the uncertainty of stuff, and you're standing there.
If you hit a penalty during the game, it's different. But when you have hit a penalty after the game,
right,
when you have to walk from that midfield,
yeah.
That's the worst part, because it's the thinking. It's how much pressure is it? Is the crowd in the stadium wants you to hit the ball right? The people at home want you, so you feel that pressure. It's not easy.
Yeah, the English, we don't have that pressure because we kind of expect them to miss. So it's like, so we expect to lose a shootout. So we're like, you know, if it goes well, then they're a hero.
Yeah, it's true. But I heard also professional golf players have the same problem. Also, I heard a story about Ian Woosnam. He had to play the Ryder Cup, and he practiced the first hole with a 3-wood. 3-wood. Then the game started. You know how crowded it is at the first hole. People screaming, blah blah blah. And he said to his caddy, "Give me the driver." No, 3-wood. Driver, please. No, 3-wood. Driver. Because he was so afraid that he couldn't hit the ball. Can you imagine?
Well, you know, the good thing about the modern driver is they're bigger, right? So you got a little bit bigger surface area to not miss.
Comparison to the ones in the old times, you know, when I have persimmon ones, these are small.
I had a set actually in the early 90s as well. McGregor, you know, those blades that were so small. I bought
one iron. Oh.
So I had a set of those, and I used them for a week, and I put them back in the pro shop with the sign "Sweet spot unused." I don't think they had a sweet spot.
No. You know what the worst part was? When you mishit it out of the center, it hurt on your hands. It was like, it was horrible. And, you know, that's why thinking about these great players playing with these kind of irons and doing the things that they've done is exceptional. Yeah,
it's unbelievable, you know, what they could do. I don't know how much you like watching old golf. There's just they just redid a video of Jack Nicklaus playing against Sam Snead at Pebble Beach. So they kind of, you know, made it into HD. So it's really cool. So you can, you know, I mean, the loft and I mean, just everything about the clubs was different, right? These days, it's a different animal.
And they didn't have the material that you have now. And also, when you wanted to change materials, you had to have somebody of a club maker has to have 30 clubs with him in order to try them out all the time. Now you can dislocate it with a key, put it on in. So all these things have made it much more easier. And but do you remember the first time that we met?
I do.
The first day, I played some horrible golf. I couldn't get my mojo.
Before you met me. Just to qualify that.
Then because I then went after that, I went straight to the driving range, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then
you were skanking it.
Yeah, and you came to me and you said to me, "Look, can I do something?" I said, "Okay, yeah, you know, I could use all the help that I could get." And you said, "Okay, you did me some exercises, some things that I had to do."
We did some tests, right? We have a system there.
Like they put your arm, rotate, and all these kind of things. And he says, "Rudy, you can't do the things that everybody tells you to do. You can't do it because physically you are not able to do it." And I was like, "Okay, can I do that?" And you taught me what to do in order to do something totally different than I thought that I had to. And next day I played at Carnoustie, and I played with a cigar. I played wonderful golf. I was so happy. Oh my God. But you know what the scary part of it is? When you do something new and you hit the ball, you have no clue where the ball goes. You
That's
hope.
right.
But
That's
when
right.
you do it and you see the ball go like, "Ooh," and you know, but you still are not under control. It's kind of scary a little bit. And it scared me. But I played for 18 holes. I played fantastic golf. I was so happy.
How'd you play yesterday or today? You played today or yesterday?
I play today. You know, when I play with my girlfriend, we play. I just practice. I just try to do, you know, in order to, when we have games, you know, with other friends or something like that. I'm very lucky that my girlfriend, I remember I took her to Ibiza.
Hmm.
And one golf course only there, and we played, and we were played. And it's hot there, and it's very hilly. You have to go up and down, very hilly. So she says after 12, how long we still have to go? Because I said, oh, we still have to go some 6 holes. 6 holes? I said, yes. This is how it feels when you go shopping with your girlfriend. Stop, start, wait, start,
Yeah.
stop,
Is it that
wait,
time already? Oh my God.
walk, and everything, and a bag on your back. This is exactly how it feels. And she
Yeah.
started laughing.
I think my watch stopped. Hold on.
Yeah. So it was funny, and she started laughing. And I said, "Look, this is how it's." But then she started herself, and then she got also hooked on it as well. And now she plays. She plays now for I think almost 3 years. And
Cool.
she is now 22 handicap. So I'm a happy
Oh,
guy.
that's great.
I have no arguments at home. Are you going to play again? No, I don't have that.
That's
That is
perfect.
interesting, especially when you go on a holiday. I hate
Oh yeah.
go on a stretcher all the time on the beach and sitting there.
That's
Nothing
terrible, isn't it?
like that either. We do that, but after the golf.
Yeah.
Then we
To
go
relax, have a
we go
nap.
relax a little bit, but we stay only for a couple of hours. So that is the best thing because if you want to play golf and the other person doesn't like it, it's the worst thing.
So who are your best football golfer friends? I remember I was in London, you know, in the mid '90s when you were there, and Zola and Viali were taking lessons in my
Yeah,
buddies. Do you remember the
Zola
Knightsbridge
became
Golf
very good.
School underground? They were going there and getting better underground.
Yes, Zola's son is also very good. Robbie Di Matteo plays it also. Tim Sherwood is a good player. I played with Ian Wright. I played.
All right, let's get a game with Ian Wright because, as you know,
Yeah,
so
he's a funny bugger.
so
And
uh, so,
yeah,
so
played a
just to
lot.
remind myself of your career, I watched that, you know, there's that Sky Sports program where it says football's greatest, Ruud Guillet, and
Ah,
then right after, which was great by the way, except that
yeah,
you know that goal you scored against
yeah.
England, whatever.
With
um,
Dennis also, I played with him as well. We have it all. We always talk about Tottenham and all these kind of things, and there's only one derby. No, it
no,
isn't. No, not Arsenal. Tottenham is the only derby. No.
that is a great derby. So
Yes.
anyway, so as a result, after your show, you know, my YouTube knows me well, so it brought up Ian Wright interviewing Dennis Bergkamp, which was kind of fun. So
That is fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just finish that story.
He's a nice person. And
Let's.
I played.
I'll give him a lesson when I come over. We'll play some Ian Wright golf.
The only thing is, you know, he's a little bit handy because his ankle is very, very
Oh,
hurting. So,
really?
yeah. The worst. That's the
It's
worst thing.
interesting, you know, when we look at, I was talking to Gary Player, same thing. I did an interview with Gary Player, and he's like, you know, in the old days, I said, well, you guys didn't seem to have as much time off injured, you know, as the new players. And he's like, well, you know, we had much more time off, right? And you know, in your generation, I mean, let's say '80s, like Maradona, I don't think people realize how much pain. It seems like how much
Oh,
pain he would play through, right?
he was in constant pain with his ankle because Goicoechea, of course, and he was always hurting a little bit, but he never gave up. He was unbelievable, and I think that nowadays also the guys are more injured because of the hard work they do outside of it.
Right.
You know, if you see all the work they do with, you know, the chest getting stronger, things like that. It makes you, you know, your, especially your torch and especially your spine,
Yeah.
so much to do. It's not the game itself. It's the work we do outside of the game. Thousand balls there,
That's
hitting,
right. That's
trying.
right.
This is the hard work, and your body can only cope till a certain point. And if you get stronger and bigger and heavier, and then you still want to do that, it's hard for your body, yeah? And so a lot
Yeah.
of now they get more pain in their back, huh?
Yeah,
They,
it's a lot. It's definitely a
Jason,
game.
Rory also. A lot of them get a lot of pain.
Yeah, Jason Day has not really come back since his but he played, I don't know,
Difficult.
a small number of tournaments.
And,
Who's the best player you play with at the Dunhill? Who's your favorite to watch?
oh, that's difficult.
There's a long list, right?
I always
I mean,
remember the first time that I played it. It was with Darren Clark and Westwood
that's
when
fun.
they just won the Ryder Cup. Can you imagine? So when I first hit my shot, there were a couple of thousand people, and I said, lucky. I hit the shot. I see you later. But these 2,000 people were all the time with us, the whole. Oh my God! Why don't you have anything else to do?
Right.
But I could understand, and it was wonderful for me because, you know, to talk with him about their feelings.
Oh yeah.
Darren said it well. He said, Rudy, if I won the Ryder Cup. If you win the Ryder Cup, everywhere you go, people will say, Darren, fantastic. When I win a tournament, maybe in my local pub, maybe we'll say something, and now nobody says anything.
Right.
But with the Ryder Cup, it's almost like the whole world is involved, or all of Europe, of course, is involved, and that makes it so exceptional. And also, I've been a couple of times to the Ryder Cup. I think it's a great event. I think it's fantastic. And it's also the only event where I really can see what a golfer is all about. Because I hated all these etiquettes they have, that you cannot shout, you cannot be angry, you cannot do nothing.
Right.
And I think that sports is emotion.
That's right.
And you see this emotion. I don't want to see somebody make a birdie and then walk with a slap dance, you know, like, okay. No, I want to see some emotion. And in the Ryder Cup, it's the only time I see golfers with emotion. And that's what I want to see. And then when you see golfers getting angry, then they get
told
punished.
off, or that's right.
Whatever. And the etiquettes and all these kind of things. Look, you know, I don't like it. I see golfers there with no emotions. And so therefore, I also asked to some people, why don't you put every 3 holes, you put a container, you can get into the container, there's a box ball, there is some gloves, there is a bat, you can hit whatever.
Hit the shit out of something.
Get all this frustration, get out, and you go, and then you can go on.
It's like you just had a hot shower.
Yes, because I sorry, I hate it when these golfers they show no emotion whatsoever, because it's not okay or whatever. I hate it. So when I see certain players, I want to see them do what they do. I want to see reaction.
Right.
So these people without any reaction, I don't care. I don't like it. That's why Ian Poulter is one of my favorites, because
that's right.
I can see what he's been through. I love it, and I can't handle all these, you know, the face to go on. Look, that's DJ, fantastic golfer. Look, the best, but I can't see it. Not even in the interviews I can't see it. It's like the whole time. It's in Monopoly.
That's why he got on so well in Italy.
Like a ventriloquist. Looks like a ventriloquist. So I love him as a player. I cannot get enough. But I want to see something, you know, and that is the only thing that I don't like about golf.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, so the reason I wanted to talk to you was because we did a coach education recently, and I'm just kind of curious, you know, like in different sports, different people, they have different opinions on coaching, right? So obviously you touched on the Ryder Cup, and now we're talking about football. It's obviously the team environment is a different managing thing, but within yourself, like over your career, how much did kind of coaches have an effect on you? Because I mean, if you look at golf, it seems like we practice technical stuff a lot more, right? Versus, so I mean, as a footballer, do you get like prepared as a kid and then you just keep your skills, or do you develop your technique and different things through training with different coaches, or how would you describe kind of the
Look,
variance of coaches that you've had?
a coach doesn't teach me how to play football. There's
Right,
no coach who makes me better as a football player. It's impossible. Other players make you better
right,
in the pitch, make you better. The coach doesn't. The coach only needs to see how he can improve you in your mental status and what
right,
you need to do for the team. He can put you in places like out of your comfort zone in a different position in order to learn something about that position.
right.
But he cannot teach you how to cross a ball. He cannot teach you how to do your technique. That is something that you already do when you are 7, 8 years,
Right.
17, 16, 18. You develop that. So what is important? The coach is how he can mentally, how he can stimulate you. I had a good coach, and when I was at the young national team, I was 14, 15, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was Ger Blok. He was inspirational because it's his attitude towards you, and what I liked about him, he wanted you to think about the game. So
Right.
before we play against France, you get all the things that you need to know on the walls, or on paper.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it and whatever. What they're doing, how they play, free kicks, all these kind of things. You don't see it, and then we sit, and then he says to you, "So, what are we going to do?" And then you have to think. And when it was your turn, you have to think. All the others have to think. Oh, what are you going to say? And don't say something stupid. So he tried to provoke you in order to think and about making decisions also on the pitch. Because when he's on the sideline, he cannot do nothing. Nowadays, coaches think this all because of them. It's not because of them.
Yeah.
You as good as your players. That's it.
Right. That's right.
So from every coach, I learned something in order, like 5-10%. You take something of him that is good for you.
Right.
Technical things, mentally, you take orders. And my first professional coach was Barry Hughes. He meant a lot to me because he gave me the opportunity.
Right.
He told me already from a young age, he said, Rudy, never ever regret anything you haven't done. Okay? So make sure you get everything out of your career, because in 16 years, it's gone.
Right.
So don't regret anything. Just do your thing. So I remember that. So this is the things that somebody teach you. And Michels about tactical awareness.
Right.
All the time. And also he said, never underestimate the opposition. Never. Don't only think about yourself. The opposition wants to do also something. Sometimes you need to adapt yourself in order to take advantage of a certain thing. So never only think, yeah, you are the best and okay. No, always respect your opponent in that order. And Saki about his discipline in tactical orders. Be disciplined in the way we played 4-4-2. We practice that every week. Okay, so every coach has something that is important for you. So that is the most important thing that a coach needs to do. He needs to give you more comfortable.
Yeah.
He needs to confidence. He needs to give you a certain tactic that is suited for the whole team, not for him, not his big tactics. No, because every team has a different tactic because of the players you have.
Right.
If you don't have the players, then you need to do something else in order to make them feel comfortable. That is what you try to do as a manager.
That's the truth. And so that's kind of what you learned when you went into management. Obviously, you
Yes.
won, which is great early.
Yeah. what you try to do is you try to mimic as much as you can the game situation. So when you play football,
yeah,
you need to do the same thing what you do during the game. You cannot play on 70%.
that's right.
You need to play to 100%. So sometimes you try to trick them in order to get that out of them. Because if it's 70%, they will do the same. How you train, you play as well. It's
Well,
not
that's a big thing in golf right now, is making sure that you don't just stand on the range and bang balls, right? Because it's got no relativity. So to give you your point, you're talking about penalty shootout, having to walk from the halfway line. It's almost like if you were training for the penalty shootout, you'd have them walk from the halfway line to simulate as closely as possible, right? And so in golf, you think about going to the driving range and hitting balls, you hit 100 7-irons in a row or whatever it is. It's really not got much to do with golf, right? And so for you,
no.
Getting out there and trying to recreate as closely as possible your first tee shot at St Andrews, you can recruit 1,000 people to watch you, and then it becomes normal.
Yeah, yeah. You need to do this all the time.
Yeah.
You create something in order to be competitive all the time, because when you're competitive, then there is nerve. I've been in Dunhill already something like 14 times. 14 years I go there, and all these golfers I see there, they're all fantastic. All of them. You see them on the driving, balls right to left, left to right, blah blah blah, whatever. They played practice round, 4 under, 5 under, 6 under, whatever. Then the game starts, and then it's +2. I said, what happened? So it's all about how you control your nerve, and you need to be convinced about who you are and what you can do. You need to have that, and if you have that in you, then you can win games. And that's the most important. You need to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Feeling that some golfers don't enjoy it because they see it as work.
That's right.
And then it becomes hard, then it becomes painful. You need to enjoy, it is a game. You need to enjoy the game. And I think they are too focused all the time on winning, on the end product. You need to be one step at a time. You need to enjoy it. Okay, what is it? Second shot to the green. Can I hit it from right to left, left to right? Okay, let's see how I can play with that. I know the shots. I know how to do it, but you need to enjoy it. That's what happens with me also when I play the Dunhill. And sometimes there comes a moment that you feel stressed because you want to do well. And then all of a sudden I think to myself, my God, I could be in an office sitting with an awful boss that irritates me. And I'm here in one of the most beautiful places in the world. I feel privileged. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate a job in a desk or whatever. Of course I do. But I could be in a desk, or I could walk on the holes on St Andrews. So, and then I look at myself and I look around and I said, Rudy, you are very privileged. You're a very lucky boy. I said, just enjoy it. And then all of a sudden, you play a wonderful game.
Well, you play your game, which is what you're saying, right? As long as you know yourself.
With it, yeah. And I've seen a lot of golfers, and we talk a lot always on the mental part. It's not the play because they can. And for me, I won the game already in the corridor. That's where you win the game, because in the corridor you are both in the same very tight space, walking the pitch, and this way you win it. Because
did you make a conscious effort to have like unbelievable body language? Because when I watch your highlights, it's like you look like you're having a hell of a time, number one, and you're always like big and proud, and you know what I mean, like very positive body language.
First, it's your attitude.
Yeah.
How you stand, and in the corridor, I saw them looking at me. On the moment I saw them looking at me, it was a 1-0 for me. 1-0. And and you can. I will tell you a story about about attitude in a corridor. With Chelsea, we had to play a semi-final against Wimbledon, and we had to play at the pitch of Highbury.
Uh-huh.
And I know that Highbury pitch, the corridor is so tight. I knew. And I played a couple of times against Wimbledon, and they have a big ghetto blaster outside of the locker room as hard as they can with some house music, horrible house music. Not all the house music is horrible, but what they did was on purpose, horrible, you know, bang, 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 all the time. So I said, okay. So I knew they were going to try to provoke us. So I was thinking, okay, what shall I do with them? You know, what shall I do? And I had no clue at that moment. Till the moment we had to go on the pitch. So I said to them, look, they want to come out a second out of the locker room, for sure. They're not going to stand there in the corridor waiting for us. No. They're going to wait till we're there. They said, okay, you go. Everybody goes in the locker room, out of the locker room, stand in the corridor. So I took my place in the corridor on Wimbledon's halfway on their half. They had to pass me. I knew that. So then they come out. Winnie Jones, you fuckers, we're going to smash you, you fucking blah, blah, blah. And they were just there, like this, banging on the wall. Blah, blah, blah. So then they had to go past me. So, and I was standing in they came from back. So Vinny said, coach, hey, Vinny, how are you doing? You looking fine? How's your wife and things and little kids? Okay. Yeah, okay.
Funny.
I did that with everybody, and they were...
Soften them up. 1-0.
1-0. Thank you very much. That's it. So this is also what you can do with golf as well, because Tiger won most of the games because of his attitude, because of his aura against him. He was standing. I saw that a lot of times with putting. He always stands in a way that you can see him. You can see him in the corner of your eyes. You can see him. That's what he does. Jack Nicklaus won a lot of tournaments, not because he won it, no, because the other choked.
That's right.
So therefore, it's all about how your attitude is. If you are like this, or if you are like that, and this is the difference. And if you go with an attitude on the golf course that this is yours, you know, and nobody can touch me. And you go to somebody, you give him a firm hand, you look in his eyes, and say, enjoy. This guy is like, okay, he's not afraid of me, he's not intimidating me, and that is already 1-0. You need to take advantage of all these kind of, and they don't do it enough.
Yeah, I agree. There's I'm trying to remember. There's a funny movie, I have to send it to you after. It's called School for Scoundrels. And it's like a movie from the 50s. It's black and white, and it's a guy being taught all like these lifemanship skills of how to get ahead, you know, in the dark arts of gamesmanship. It's a pretty funny movie. So, so Tiger, you know, became in his kind of second career, became, you know, friends with Rory and Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas, you know, and they play at the same club, right, at home. And you know, he'd play with them, he'd be friendly, you know, gives them some tips and things like this. And then so he's playing with Ricky Fowler in, I think it was, I want to say Muirfield, whatever, doesn't matter, in the last round, you know, so they turn up on the first tee. Tiger doesn't talk to him. so they play the whole round. He doesn't talk to him. And, you know, I think if the story's right, Ricky shoots like a 82 and Tiger, you know.
Because you are thinking about him. That's the point. You don't need to think about him. You need to be on yourself. So on the moment you give him a hand, you go to him, hey, enjoy your game. And that's it. Then you make your first move. He didn't do that. And that is all what it is. He needs something that gets him out of his comfort zone. So, and this is how you win games, psychological warfare. It's the same for people to understand. If you go into an elevator, what do most people do in an elevator?
Yeah, they look down, right?
They look always, they want to get out. Okay.
That's right.
Much people, blah, blah, blah. And there's a tension in that elevator that is, you know, it
unspoken.
Sucks the energy out of you.
That's right.
You can change that just by saying, good afternoon, how's everybody?
I
And
bet you do that. I can see that all day.
and all that energy is gone,
Yeah,
and you don't have that anymore. So that's are things that you can use also on the golf course, and you
right.
need to do it beforehand you start, of course. You
Yeah.
know, you give him a firm hand, you look in his eyes, and if you do that, he cannot do nothing. That
Yeah.
is 1-0 for you. And
How tall are you? Like 190?
now I am 187
You can imagine you back in the day, 180 with all this hair. You're a
180. The
big
hair
physical
I
presence
was
too, right?
187, but with the hair 190.
Do that. That's probably about 5 kilos of hair. It probably helped you just get
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
extra ball
yeah.
speed,
I always put it on the back of my head, so it was okay.
a little extra weight behind the ball.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's interesting. So as you went through your career, so let's say if I were to look at like a footballer's career, so when they're young, they're developing their technique and what have you, which, you guys in Holland do an unbelievable job of that, making them play in different positions, all that sort of thing. How did you, like, at some point, let's say you plateau with your technique. How was like
No, you
your mindset through
never
your
play
career?
technique. You never.
What's that?
You never. You always keep practicing that.
Right.
I remember when I won Ballon d'Or, then I went after that. I went almost every morning before training, half an hour before training, with another coach, just doing technique
Right.
all the time. Technique all the time, doing the same thing. It's not over, especially not when you want it.
Right.
To get to the top is an easy track, easy way to go. But to remain on the top, everybody wants you off.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
right.
tough on a place. So you need to maintain all the things that you do. Sometimes you need even to work harder. It never stops. Never.
Yeah.
Till you end of your career, and then all of a sudden you can relax. But as long as you play, wherever you go, especially when you were on the top, you have to be better than the rest all the
That's
time.
right.
So if you know that, then you have to give more. That's why Ronaldo is a fantastic example.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of his work ethic, he forces the others to do the same. Because if they don't, he gets upset because he wants to
Yeah.
win. So that is a very good thing for the club to have somebody.
Yeah, I think
The same.
guys like
win.
all of you guys who won the Ballon d'Or, I mean, have the internal drive, right? I mean, you don't need somebody else to tell you what to do, right? In
No,
terms of, but I
no.
mean, it helps if you have a bunch of really good players around you and you've probably got a chance of winning something. But
Well,
where do you think that came from? Like Gary Player calls it. He says, the great players have a thing called it, and he doesn't know where it comes from. But did you have like adversity that you came over, or was it like something? I mean, where does that drive come from?
it's. I think what helped for me a lot was that when I was a young kid, I was one of the, sometimes the only black guy in a team of white people. I knew that if people want to watch, they're going to look at me because I look different. If there was a red guy, they would look at the red guy as well. So if I was playing, I needed to be better than the rest. Because if I didn't play well, they say, this guy can do nothing because you stand out. So I knew I had to do a little bit more than the rest in order just to, to always be in that spotlight. And and that attitude I took with me all the time, always trying to do more,
Right.
do my best, more than the rest. And it became a normality. It became
A habit.
do it all the time with everything you try to do. And if somebody's better than me, I shake hands and I say, good, that was awesome. That I can handle that.
Yeah.
But I need to do for myself.
Your best.
That's the only thing I want to know.
So who was the handful of people you played with that you shook their hand, you're like, that was unbelievable. Maradona, we talked about, you thought was one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Unbelievable. Oh, what a player he was. And in those times, they could kick you, huh?
Well, I was going to say that earlier. We kind of got sidetracked, but
you had to have eyes, ears everywhere.
Italy, especially, right?
Yeah, especially because they were slick. They were just, in order just to have the elbow when you were for a corner kick.
Yeah.
ball goes over you, you get an elbow in your face. Boom! It was a stamp on your toe. Or I knew players who had tiger bells on their hands here, and then they just touch you and they put it in your face like this, and you go all the time. They go.
That's so good. It's dark
You
arts.
cannot imagine that anymore. It doesn't happen. It's better also, but you were prepared for these kind of things all the time. So you had eyes and ears everywhere, and you took it. You took it. And you didn't moan about it. You just wait, and some of them could wait a long time till they got you back.
I think of Roy Keane and Alf Inge Haaland. Do you remember that? That was a blatant getting you back. That was pretty bad.
Roy nowadays could not play like this.
No.
Tunis could not play like that.
He was so good.
But no, you can't.
But talk about a personality that was suited for his time, though.
Yeah, you can't do that nowadays. They were great players, both of them.
You missed him at Sampdoria, right?
Yes,
you went.
Left. Yeah, he left. Yeah.
He'd be a better guy to have on your side than in the opponent's team, I would think.
He's a good player as well.
Oh, yeah.
A player as well. So therefore, but nowadays he couldn't do the thing that he did in those days. You could get away with it. And he just demanded the best of every player around him. That's what he demanded. And you did it there. And this Roy Keane is the same. Yeah. These are players that you need and you want in your team for the game spirit.
Yeah, you were. I was going to say lucky. It's probably not the right word, but you playing in the Holland team that you did, and then in the late '80s, and then the Milan team. It seems like you had a group of a good chemistry as well as a good group of players, right? How important is that to kind of tie everything together?
Players in Italy, and at least in Milan, were very serious. Very serious. Not many jokes. It was all about work.
Right.
Italy was work. Really, everyday work in order to do things. It was when you won a game, that was not important. It was to win a lot of games. It was to win. If you won a trophy, then next year there was another trophy winning. So you could even celebrate the first trophy in order to win. When you won the championship, you needed to win the Champions League. When you won the Champions League, you have to win another Champions League. So there was always, all the time, pressure on you to win again. It's almost like you started from zero, and then you have to do it again. It was hard, but it was also a mentality, and I was lucky to have good players around me, good mentality players around me, because I learned a lot from the Italians, because I like to play. I just want to have fun. And the Italians
look like you have fun.
These guys always laughing. What the hell? What is this? It's not serious enough. And then they saw me on the pitch and they said, okay, leave him.
Let him go.
From the Italians to be a little bit more serious. And the Italians learned from me to be a little bit more, enjoy it a little bit more. And so that's a real, but in the beginning, everybody was looking at me, what the hell, this guy's laughing, he's talking all the time, and he's laughing at the food and whatever, and and they look at the coach when I was laughing, they look at the coach, how he was reacting, and then but I didn't care, because I just enjoyed myself. That was for me the most important thing. Enjoy what you're doing.
And then you guys, for Holland, you always have extra pressure, right? In terms of not only you're supposed to win, but you have to look good doing it. It's an different type of pressure.
We like to play a certain kind of football. We didn't do that all the time because it's too difficult. And but the intentions were there. And
let me ask you a question about Cruyff. He's one of those people in sport, I would say, that crosses over from being, obviously an unbelievable player to, very influential coach, obviously at Barcelona and what have you. What kind of lessons would you say that he imparted on the people around him, or on him, even on himself?
Very grateful for Johan. I was lucky to get Johan as a football player when he was, I think, 38. He played with me in Feyenoord. I was a young guy, 20 or something, and he came there and he was a coach for me on the pitch. And so he was all the time talking. When he had the ball, he was pointing where you have to go. Come on. So
interesting.
You learned he was the coach for me, and I
Right.
think lucky to be with him only for 1 year, but that year meant for me the most of it. He
Interesting.
he paved the way for Holland and Dutch players to look around in Holland for these players because he was so
Mm.
exceptional. So we owe him a lot. We are very grateful for Johan and his ideas of football. And he did the same thing also when he was a coach at Barcelona.
Right.
The
So
interpretation of the football that he had in his mind. And and so he meant a lot for football in general, but for me it's exceptional. I will always treasure that, and I'm grateful to
I
be.
wonder. I wonder which team would have been the best one. Because you say you have someone in a team like that who's so, tactically astute and also unbelievably skillful, right? You have to surround him with the right players that potentially made him look the best, right? So I wonder which team he played in that matched him the most.
He had also a thing that he could make better play. He could make you better as a
Yeah.
player because it's not about tactical or it's not about technique or things like that. He lets you think ahead all the time. You have to think ahead. It's
Right.
like chess players, but with moving pawns. And he makes you think all the time. What comes next? What should be happening next? So all these kind of things. That is something that he is unbelievable in. And he thought four times before it even happened.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knew what was going to
He's
happen.
like a footballing chess player.
He's like a chess player with moving pawns. He knew already what's going to happen
Unbelievable.
before it even happened, and that is instinct, but also experience. Because by experience, you know what has to happen. But I tell you, with good players, because if there is one pawn who doesn't understand it, it becomes already more difficult.
It
Okay?
ruins the system, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a clock. You need all these little pieces of the clock put in so that the clock goes well. If there's one player that doesn't do what he needs to do, and even this, he's a
Huh.
good player, he will put him out, and he will put maybe less good as that player, but he does the things that he needed to make this team better.
No, yeah.
Johan, he thinks about these things, and he gets players that you think, why him?
Yeah.
But that's an important asset. And I think that is also what you do with golf as well. You have to think about the things that you are good in. Most people all the time practice all the times what they're not
That's
good in.
right. That's right.
What are you doing? Okay? Practice things also in football. Let's say there are 10 things important.
Yeah.
And most of these 10 things, maybe four things are for you. All these others are not made for you. So use these 4 things. Nowadays, you see these coaches are all the time only hammering on the things that you can't do. No. Make sure that he does the things that he becomes better, because these other things, if you learn one thing, that would be already great. But most of the things, that is that's what you are.
Well, it's like Bryson DeChambeau right now in golf is an
Yeah.
interesting one because he's doing all these things to get longer, and potentially not only is it making potentially makes him better, but it also makes 10 other people worse because they try and match him, but they're not they don't own that process. It's kind of interesting.
Not Deschambeau is the one. It's the other ones who wants to do the same. And
But
there are players who wanted to hit the ball further, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
that's right.
Even golfers that will say, "Oh, maybe I have to lose weight." Then they lose weight, and they are horrible.
That's right.
So stick with the things that you're good in. I don't want Reed to get slimmer. I don't want that. Also, like a Mickelson, he lost a lot of weight. He goes now with the glasses on and all the time. And I don't know if he's the Phil Mickelson that he. Of course, he's getting old. I know.
He had arthritis, so I guess he had to make some changes to keep going.
Okay, but you can see already, there's a lot of weight and things like that, and it makes your swing different for some reason.
No doubt about it.
It is different, and And Mickelson, of course, he's still a fantastic player. Okay, but is he going to do it again on the big stage? It's difficult. I hope so, because I love the way he handles his wedges. Everybody wants to see that. It's magic. But these young guns, they're coming and they're hitting the ball all so far. This guy, what is his name?
The South African guy on the European tour.
From India. He's an Indian boy. He plays with Callaway. But whatever. He's as thin as this. He's like this. He's thin. His shoes are big like that. Always. I forget his name.
I forget.
He's a Callaway player.
But you look at just Rory McIlroy. I mean, he's probably 70 kilos, and he can move the ball at 200 miles an hour. It's
look, that
physical freak.
That pisses me off the most. These small guys, thin guys that hit the ball so long. I said, why? How is it possible? For what? I try everything and I can't do it, and I hate it.
How did you ever measure your vertical jump? By the way, that's a big deal for golf. If you can jump, you can.
Who cares now?
I know, but back in the day, I mean, it was unbelievable.
I don't know.
You ever see there's a picture of Ronaldo scoring a header.
Yeah.
Where his feet are up by the shoulder of the guy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
So,
it's almost like he is gliding. He's same with Jordan.
All I'm saying is don't give us the hard done by card, because your physical gifts were pretty good.
Look, I still maintain my body. I try to do whatever it is. I had hernia operation also. I had a defect already on my spine when I was born. So they told me that after my career, maybe I could have some problems, and it did. I have a disc that is forward.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like this. It's not like this, but it's like this already when I'm born like this. So they told me already that it could happen, and it did. And so I had already an operation. Spine operation, not fusion. They just clean it and make some space. But I had a lot of operations also during my career. I had during my career 5 operations on my right knee.
Oh wow!
I had a wonderful career. I could end it. Then after my career, I had another 5 on my left knee, and so I don't run so much anymore.
Right.
I still can walk normally. I don't have pain or anything. Don't need that. But I have to keep fit in order to, do what I did. But walking around, especially with golf, helps me. So I don't play football anymore. I did that till the age of 42, 43, something like that. Till I had problems with the other knee, left knee. So can you imagine?
Where did you play your last professional football? Was that at Chelsea?
Yes. I think the last game was against Arsenal, I think.
That'll make a lot of people quit back in the 90s, so good.
Yeah. But
it's a good team though, huh? When you were finishing, if we had Vieira and Petit, strong.
No, Vieira was not there. I don't think he was there. It was the second year he was there.
Yeah, I watched his first game. It was like,
I think so. I'm not sure.
Transformational when he came on the field.
He was fantastic.
He's my favorite Arsenal player of all time is Vieira. Haven't replaced him.
Petit midfield.
Yeah.
Adams, Keown.
Tough.
Come on. Burkamp. What a team. Hey, with that midfield.
So what was the best team you played in?
Of course, Milan team was the best team.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Over the years.
Yeah. But like I said, Milan was work. I had fun when you just start. I had fun when I was at Chelsea. I had fun. That was fun, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed England. London also is my happy place. I loved it. I love London. But I love the English sense of humor. You
got a pretty good sense of humor yourself.
Yeah, but I love their humor because it's something that I can relate to. I saw all these programs in Holland also. Love Thy Neighbor, Faulty Towers.
So good.
And Are You Being Served? Daddy's Army.
Did you ever watch Only Fools and Horses?
But that is typical English. That's
So that
typical.
one's very difficult for any
I know.
non-English person to understand.
We didn't have that.
It's
No,
so good.
Holland. I watched it. I watched it when I was in London.
It's even hard work to get it, right?
I was not so much in it. No. I loved not the 9 o'clock news.
Oh yeah, sarcasm.
They were funny. So, Only Fools and Horses that is typical London, eh? It's very London.
Yeah, very, very. So I went to live in.
I got it, but I didn't get into it so much.
Like late '90s, I lived in near Vienna, and I had an American staying with me and a Swedish guy, and I got, okay, you guys got to watch this. This is the funniest thing in the world. Put it on, and they're like,
no, they can't.
Nothing.
They don't have the same sense of humor but I love the sense of humor from the English. I love the way they love their football as well.
Oh,
I think
great.
that yeah. So I always, I can relate to the English. I read the newspapers every day, the English newspaper. I read it. I read a little bit of the pride they have, the English pride.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The island mentality they have.
Yeah, even more so now. We're back in our island again.
You're back in your island?
Hey, we got a good team coming up. I think England are going to do well here in the next 4 or 5 years.
How many years I've heard that before?
Like I said, we're very proud of our team. We're very nationalistic. So it's like
English, when I was in England also in those days, it was, but in Europe. I said, what?
We're in Europe.
You're part of Europe. No, on the continent. But I love the English. I love the sense of humor. They make me laugh. They make me really laugh. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, you're a funny guy too. Hey, I'd ask you, because there's so many questions about FIFA. How do you appreciate your second career as a EA Sports FIFA superhero?
It's nice. It's unbelievable. I remember that I think it's 8-9 years ago. There was this team of ex-football players become, part of the game. I was invited. I did it, and now it seems that I am one of my avatar is one of the best players on the pitch, and I didn't even realize. But
I was on the golf course with this little kid, over here, right? A little American kid, and my phone was sitting there, right? And you texted me something, which is probably rude. Rude. You get that? And then he looks at it and he goes, "The Ruud Guillet?" He's like 10 years old, I'm like, how do you know Ruud Guillet? He's like, he's the best player in the game.
Oh, it's funny. If I see people, what they do, they see my avatar, they see the puppet in the game, and then they go on YouTube and they say, "No, he was not that bad." It's funny. It's funny. I have my own team now. I have Team Guillet. I have.
Oh, you're in the esport.
Yes.
A friend of mine is in the esport business. He was asking me.
Yeah, I just finished a program when we recruit the best player of each.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and he's now in Team Guillet. And what I'm also very excited about is the fact that Team Guillet is in the FIFA game. So the shirt of Team Guillet is in the game.
Unreal.
Unreal.
It's people don't realize what an unbelievably large kind of scene that is, right? I mean, it's for real, this esports thing.
Yeah, this is for real. I've been when I was at the Champions League final in Madrid. I was also at the E-Games final, also Champions League.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there was one player of me. He was there. He reaches the semi-final, just the quarterfinals. He reaches. So therefore, it is good to see. I went to the World Cup. Also, was in London.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the World Cup when a guy called Gorilla, I think he's English, he won the World Cup. So he had a manager, he had a physio, and he had a with him. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I said, "Oh my God, this is serious."
It's serious. How when you go to that, how many people is like in the crowd or what have you? Did they have back in the day when we had crowds? How many people were watching?
What there?
Like that game.
Oh, the E-Games was in the theater, and the theater was something like a couple of thousand people, I think.
Amazing.
And then all the people around in the world are watching it as well.
Yeah.
I think something like 7 million people participated in the World Cup in order to go to the final.
That's amazing.
So it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And EA Sports does a really good job with this FIFA game. So I'm part of it. I have my own team, Team Guillet. And
I'm going to follow Team Guillet.
You have the Team Guillet. All the youngsters will understand.
That's amazing.
So they have to watch it.
Very cool. Well, I don't want to keep you from your dinner with your lovely lady.
But I also, you know what? Also in golf, sometimes what is that I've seen also so many coaches. You know, in golf, you have a lot of them, but the problem most of the time what you have is that they always give you a plaster. You know,
that's right.
You have a wound, it doesn't work. They give you a plaster with some jodium on it, and then it's okay. But then after a while, the injury comes back again, and that's the problem. They give you a tip, but do they really understand you in whole? You know,
well,
that's sometimes so difficult because you have so many coaches, and everybody says something different, and then you think to yourself, "Wait a minute, how?" They all do the same thing. How's it possible I get all these different things? How is that possible? And it's the same movement. It's the same thing.
See, some people are asking where your hair went, you know, and it was because you play golf, you pull it out. We got a book coming out soon, and the test that I did on you kind of gives us an indication of what is the easiest movement pattern for you, and that's really where we're at nowadays, is hopefully customizing. Like on Savile Row, you know, in London, you get a suit and you get the suit made for you, and so so you build your swing according to your shape and size, right?
Yeah, it has to be. There must be an easier way to do it in order. But my mistake is that I have I can have something like 5 different swing thoughts, and that makes me crazy because then you become a thinker man. You don't want that.
No, I mean, it comes back to what you said about football, right? So when you go out on the range, let's say, we've talked about your swing for a while, and you do that stuff, but then in order to, hit shots, right? And so you actually have to hit shots. Like, you have to practice the skills that you talked about in football. You have to do in golf. You have to hit low shot, you have to hit high shot, you have to hit fade, you have to hit draw. Problem is with golf is, amateur level, even at your good level, it's like you only have one shot. So if that one's not working, then you try and change your swing, right? So you really need to add some skills. Practice fades, draw, high, low, and then when you get to Scotland, you're a more skillful golfer versus having a better swing, right?
But then comes, look, a football player is good because he doesn't have time to think. He anticipates all the time. No time. If you think, you are late.
That's right.
But with golf, you have to walk. Takes whatever 40 seconds, 30 seconds to go to your next. Then you wait for the others, and so there's too much time to think.
It's like,
and that thinking,
torture.
You better could be Happy Gilmore golf. You come in up, boom.
Yeah, but there's something to be said. If people look at Bryson DeChambeau and go, he's so complicated. He's got this going on. He's got that going on. But I think it's all a smokescreen to keep him busy before he hits his shot. So it's called, it's a process, right? So he runs through all this stuff, and then, okay, now I'm ready to hit it, and he hits it. Right, so he's got all these things in the way of which he
makes me nervous. he makes me nervous. Really, look at him, and I think that you have to have admiration a little bit for him, for what he tries to achieve, because he won with it. You can say whatever you like, you can disagree what he does or whatever. He found a way for him to win. If he wins more, we don't know. Okay, but at least he found a new way. He was interested to try.
New way.
Yes, and and let's see what comes out. And as well, you are in America. All these young kids, the first thing they need to know how far you can hit it. That's what they do. Doesn't matter how good you can play, as long as you can hit it far, Then we shall see what happens.
Well, let's see who just won. Who won? Well, you got someone like a Patrick Reed who's a medium hitter. There's still place. It's like,
Yeah, you should.
there's so many different types of golf courses. Like I had dinner with Rory after he played in the Sawgrass for the first time, long time ago. And he's like, next time I'm going to leave my woods at home, because it's so narrow and this and that.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
so there's different courses that suit kind of different styles. So there's always room. But I mean, if you have a lot of skill and you hit a long way, then that's the way it's going. But still, there's room at the table for somebody who, to your point, is very confident. They know their game. That would be, someone like Patrick Reed, I would say, is like, he knows who he is. He
Yes.
plays his game, and doesn't kind of get taken along by the latest thing, which is important.
That means also that Rory has to be better in his wedges then. Yes, because you hit that far and you come that close, that's only wedge play.
Yeah.
So he can get better, but with that. That's why DJ's an unbelievable player, because he hits it far. Rowles also his short game. Very,
but so it comes back to your point. You're actually a coach of sport. Is that he obviously wanted to win more, and he and his team recognized that his wedges weren't that good. So ever since then, he puts down his TrackMan and measures his wedges every single day. So every time he goes to the range, he's measuring. So he made it. He knew his game. To your point, he knew the weakness, and then he worked hard to make it happen. So.
And he did an unbelievable job because he's a wonderful player. Wow.
Oh, he's probably, him and Rory would be the most talented two players out there, I would say. Just
at the moment,
physical gifts. Huh? Yeah.
I like Schaufler also.
Oh, I think he's the guy. I think you like him because he's such a pro. Do you understand? Like,
Him.
and
I like to watch him.
But what's interesting about him? His dad was a decathlete from Germany. So his dad has basically taken that kind of Olympic mentality, and especially the German side of it, and he's been brought up with that side of things. So if I watch him, I look at him and say, like, he's like Bernard Langer. He's such a professional golfer.
Yeah, but he's a good player, eh?
Oh yeah, he's a good player. But I think a lot of his strength, his superpower, is that he's such a pro. And he knows how to your point, is like an old golfer. He knows himself, he knows his skills, and he's mentally tough. He plays well when it matters usually.
Yeah. So with some of this, with the funny and the nice guy, I keep still contact. BV, I keep contact with him. I keep contact with Southgate, nice guy as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tease Ian Poulter also. So that he's funny bugger as well. So therefore, you keep, as some players you still keep contact with, and then and just that you hope that they play well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, we're all such, the Europeans are all such huge football fans that it's a win-win relationship, right? We enjoy hearing the football stories as well.
Yeah. It's true.
And you're kind of funny yourself, for a Dutch guy.
I like to have. With all the videos I sent to you, there's some funny. I think I provide the whole world with funny videos.
Yeah, I think you get them back as well. You have an unlimited supply.
I have from everywhere, from all
in different languages as well. You have to translate them for me.
Yeah. I have to translate them for the English. Okay,
yeah.
But some of them are so funny. Today with the poisonous. What was it? There's a park with all these poisonous plants. There's only poisonous plants in there. So, and then this guy asked, "Can you also deliver?" It's so funny. That's English. That's the English.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That is funny. So therefore, I think that in a time like this with COVID, you need to keep your spirit high. I know
that's the truth.
I know it's difficult. I feel really hard for all these people. I really do.
Well, just with you, you grew up in these teams. There's always just so much camaraderie, we call it, right? And
banter.
Banter, exactly. And then you know, how do you? I mean, you need a bunch of guys around you or gals or whatever to banter in your golf as well, right? Do you have a
Yeah.
group that you play with that you can kind of banter with, or?
I need to laugh. I need to laugh. You know, I need to have. I can laugh about myself. I'll never forget. You remember? You know, in St Andrews, you have a restaurant. It's an Indonesian restaurant. You remember that?
I can't remember, but I would always go to. You
I
remember
always
that
always went there. I loved it. And then
it's like a steak barn. I go there every day
yeah,
next to the hotel. Yeah.
and you go there and with some, you know, with some spicy stuff and things like that, rice and chicken curry and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So I have to play on Carnoustie.
yeah. I know where this is going.
And I have to. So I go to the practice field, and I practice. Then I go to chipping, and when I go to chipping, my stomach goes like.
You know what we call that? It's hot twice, by the way.
So, you know, so I could go 150 meters to the buggy, or I could go 250 to the clubhouse back. I took 250 to the clubhouse back. So I walk as a penguin, you know, like a penguin. So I make it. I really make it. I go like, oh God, sweating. Oh, took me 15 minutes. Go off, go back, off, go back. And I'm like this, sweating. Finally, I'm finished. I go out. Mr. Guillet, we are looking for you. You have only 5 minutes before you have to tee off. So I said, okay, I'm coming. Couldn't even putt, could not do nothing. So first hit, phew, left out of bounds. Yeah. So second hole, second shot. So I hit 5 holes like this, okay? I come to Hogan's Alley, okay? My pro hits out of bounds. And I said, oh, it's my turn now. And I go like, with all the crap I had in my stomach, I go, boom. It went a little bit left over the fence, went back, so, it's still there. So, my pro hits another one, goes in there, in the middle of the fairway. He hits another one, goes on the right ditch, you know, on Hogan's Alley. So now it's me. Again, I go, let's take that. Oh, no. But a little bit left on the tee box of the next hole. So I'm like, okay, I'm still there. Rudy is still alive.
Unreal.
So I was like, I had to chip this one. I said, I'm not doing it. I had a 40 yards chip, and I had not the courage to do it with the weight of my stomach.
You didn't want to squeeze your stomach too much.
I putt, boom, and the ball goes there, 1 yard. I make a birdie. Yes, I make a birdie. Then I make a par. I make a birdie. I make a par. I make a birdie. I was the best game of my life.
That's funny.
Can you imagine?
That's unbelievable.
Oh my God! I never forget that moment again. Never ever. That was one of my best rounds ever.
Unbelievable. Ring. We call that ring of fire. Hot
I remember.
twice.
You look walking like a penguin. You know. I was.
That's funny. Hey, when you were in England early, like 90s, Indian food was the #1 most eaten food in England.
Not so much in Indian. Indian is too spicy. That is too curry and all this time. No.
I imagine you didn't eat that before a game.
Sometimes it's too much masala and all these things. No. So the Indonesian food was okay, but that was a little bit too spicy. Oh my God! Never forget it.
Yeah. I actually went to Indonesia. I had a similar story taking off. You know, the plane's just taking off. I'm like, okay, I got to get up. I've got to get up now.
And the
those chilies are something else. That's right.
No.
All right. No Indonesian food on the night before your golf.
No.
Well, maybe.
I love the Indonesian food, but it was something was a little bit spicy. So.
I wonder what's going to happen at Dunhill this year. It's going to be a full field event. Have you heard anything?
I think it was the best decision to cancel it, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, this year though, like coming up, I think it will be back
Yeah.
to normal.
But you saw what happened with Pebble Beach. There was no amateurs there.
But
So,
still, I think it's 6 months. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't think they'll do it.
So much going on at the moment. You know, the government, any government in the world has no clue what to do, and
Well,
they just hope they should with so many restrictions that they hope something works.
so what do you guys? You're locked down right now. You can't do anything.
We
I
are
guess
here.
you can play golf now. So.
Curfew, 9 o'clock curfew.
Oh.
A good thing, you can play golf. That's a good thing. So golf courses and golf shops, they're doing well. But most shops are closed, but you can deliver. So you can call them, you can take it out. That's open. Restaurants are closed. I feel sorry for these people. Restaurants. You know what the worst part is. You know the worst part of this whole thing is that people cannot, sustain what they have. And at the moment, there's a lot of sharks swimming around, hoping that you sell your goods.
Oh, really?
Order so they can take it away when things go normal. That is the worst. That's the thing that I hate the most. I hope that everybody gets support of the government, that they can continue, because I don't want people to sell a good restaurant just for the sharks that comes. I hope that I really do.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and I don't understand also one thing. They say that most people who get infected is always in the area of your house.
Right.
People fight and whatever. So why don't you open restaurants? Why? Because a restaurant can make sure you don't get in contact with anybody. He makes sure that you have the right people.
They clean, right?
They clean and whatever. So why don't you open that? They can then.
Yeah, we've got.
You're not gonna get it in a restaurant. You're not gonna get it there. It's not gonna happen. So therefore, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it happens a lot in families, I think. So people bring it home and
always at home. Because people will need other people. They need that. They are not going solo. They have some people go solo, but most people like to have interaction with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, people getting very nervous at the moment. I have a feeling that's coming to a point that all the restaurants and things, they just say, you know what, we all gonna just open whatever. I take all the things, because what happens is they're gonna sue. If I was me, all the shops should sue them, whatever the government for on it, and nobody wants to have 100,000 cases.
That's right.
Nobody wants.
Nobody actually wants it. No, that's true.
I think there comes a moment that people say, no, may not take that. I will take the fines and things. Because people need to live. You cannot sustain this. It's impossible. It's impossible. And I can understand that. Really, I can. Because I feel for them. I feel for these people. It's an unbelievable grief what they have every day to hear. Yeah, then there's this, then there's a mutant, then it comes another, then it comes, come on,
We just did an event with a doctor, and he said it's going to happen. Basically, you're just going to have a vaccine every year from now on. It's not going away. So.
Of course. All the time there's a new one. Then you have the South African, then you have the English, now you have the Brazilian, then you have whatever. It's going to be like that.
They told off Trump for calling it the China virus. Now they call it the English virus. So.
English virus, South African virus, they have all kinds
all over the place. Hey, what are you doing now? You do commentary for Champions League, or you do it from home, or?
Yeah, being sports, I do it from home. Yeah. This position that you see, I was supposed to go to Qatar a week ago.
Right.
I had a permit that I didn't have to go in quarantine, but then the airlines in Holland, I had to have proof that I had to go in a hotel with quarantine. Couldn't
interesting.
Go at the hotel. And I said, yeah, but I have restrictions that I don't need to because I have to work.
Right.
Doesn't matter. So on that moment, they said, no, stay there, because I'd stay a week in quarantine in Qatar, and then I have to go 10 days again in Holland. Come on. Days of my life in a quarantine.
That's a nice trip in the winter though. You get to play some golf.
Yeah, but
usually. Not
Yeah,
now.
you can play, but you also don't. Also, there they have more restrictions every day.
Yeah.
Things are changing. So therefore, luckily for me, the golf courses are open. In England, they're closed, I think. Still closed?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
No.
I think.
But
Yeah.
why? Why do you have to be closed? You're always the two of you. You know, you always play with your partner. And by the way, if you are with your partner, you're never close to each other. Everybody plays his own ball. So what's the point? I don't get it. What's the point?
You see the video I sent you earlier with the couple on the golf course?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been playing for the ladies' teams all this time.
Therefore, you know, I don't understand. This is a measurement that I don't understand. People need to be fit. If you
That's right.
go, if you're gonna have a walk around, you do the same thing. So what is the point? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
We
Wrong.
in America, I mean, I was in Arizona in the first quarantine, and it was unbelievable how busy golf courses were. So I mean, it's a good thing. People get out. I mean, they
You have
didn't.
to walk around, stay
Yeah,
healthy. You cannot stay all the time in your home getting fat. That because they say the fat people get attacked.
that's
People
right. That's right.
more problems to fight this. So do something that they can do something, because otherwise, close them in a house. What's going to happen? Everybody's going to eat. I do the same thing as well. Every day there is in the
So,
kitchen there. I hear voices in the kitchen. Rudy, hey, I have Cruyff. I have a cake.
it's
Chocolate.
it's like you know, you remember Star Wars? They call it the tractor beam. You know, it's
Yeah,
pulling
yeah.
you in. So I
Exactly.
have a very
Right.
expensive
Yeah.
refrigerator. Every time I walk past it, it pulls me towards it.
This voice here jumps all the time. Chocolate. There is cake. And every time I go into the drawer and I look at it and I say, shall I do it? Shall I do it? Shall I do it? No. Boom. Then 5 minutes again, it's still in my head.
That's funny. What's your handicap right now?
Okay, my handicap, you're not going to
All right.
believe it. New handicap, eh?
Oh, the world handicap, yeah.
There's a world handicap now.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I filled in the last couple of months. Last year, I filled in my thing. So now I was like a 6.8, and now I am a 4.5.
Oh, not bad. So what's your goal for the year? You're gonna your goal for the I'll give you a goal for the year. You should play like a scratch and have a 6.8 by the time you get to the Dunhill. and then you're gonna get cut in public.
The thing is, it doesn't feel like a 4.5. It doesn't. So I don't know how they get this. But you know what I don't understand, and what I don't think is good on this new handicap system. You can fill in also 9 holes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
What the
right.
heck is that? So if you have 9 holes, I have a lot of times I have 9 holes. I play scratch. Then it comes in second. This the moment that you know that you play well, then all of a sudden trouble starts. Eh? Yeah. On the moment you realize, oh, I'm level par. So I'm like, Ruud, don't think about that. Keep focused.
Yeah.
But for me, it's difficult to stay focused for 18 holes. I need to have fun a little bit. Can't
How
be.
funny is Johan Rupert when one of his boys overperforms at the event?
I know.
They get an instant haircut.
Oh yeah, you get a fine.
It's so good.
You get a
Is
fine.
that you played well, way too well
fine.
today? You can either play off 5 handicap less tomorrow, or you can get up and sing a song, or both.
I get a fine. If you play well, fine. Thank you, Johan. Thank you.
It's fun though. It's like it's autocratic, right? I mean, he can just do whatever he wants, but it's a good nature.
What he does with this tournament is unbelievable. It's
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Every time.
It's the most
what
fun.
He does. Yeah, but also what he does for the good cause.
Yeah.
How he helps St. Andrews, all these facilities around. They can rebuild new things and everything for promotion of the sport. He gives a lot of money for charity. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable thing. And I'm very, very proud to be part of that.
That's very cool. So what are you guys doing tonight? Big night in, like every night?
No. I just filled in. I'm also an ambassador of how do you say that, executive, what is it, executive member of Lawyers Awards. You can
Oh,
see.
nice. Yeah, I saw that.
So I had to vote for who's going to become the best female
Sports
player
person. Yeah.
for man female team. What is
Is
the
Johan involved in that? And
Yes,
Gary Player's involved somehow, right? Isn't that?
I don't
Or maybe
know.
not so.
Oh, there's a lot of unbelievable
It's
sportsmen. When
incredible.
we together and you look around, you say,
Oh man, unbelievable, right?
unbelievable. Mark Spitz, Nada Comaneci,
Unreal.
Marveling Heckler, Boris Becker. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. That's only a couple. It's
Right.
just unbelievable.
Such a cool event. Yeah.
Oh,
That's...
hey. And you look at it and you think, okay, okay, unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, so I'm very proud to be part of that as well.
Well, you earned it. Amazing. You fight a little every day, and then suddenly you get to the top of the mountain. That's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. But now I'm just a mortal like anyone else. I was then also mortal, but
Well, that's why you play golf. You want to feel like a human being. You get beaten up in the face every day.
yeah. But the worst part of golf is that you all of a sudden you feel mortal because of the fact that you are not under control all the time. When you play football, most of the time you're under control of your own thing.
Right.
You think,
I think there's something you said. You want to be ambitious to play a bit better, but you also have to be humble and know who you are, right? And so I think that's actually a great leveler in golf, is that people that know their limits. And I play golf with this guy the other day. He's one of the best kind of investment bankers, and his job is to manage risk. And it was literally like he was playing chess. He'd put it there, and then he'd steer away from the water, and then it's just pretty. So talk about like playing your own game. He was like the risk manager on the golf course. It was really hilarious.
But you have to do with somebody else's money, eh?
Yeah,
If you don't do that.
That's right, buddy.
Okay.
Great pleasure, great honor.
You're welcome.
Been fun. So let's get you down to 2 this year.
I keep on sending you all my messages. Sometimes I ask you for advice, and then you send me a video, and then I keep on doing it.
It's funny. You called me when I was in a golf tournament, and
I know.
It was. I'm like, hey, I was going to have you talk to some of the guys, and they're like, "Do you like soccer?" They're like, "No."
No.
I'm like,
Americans don't watch soccer.
But yeah, fine. Some of them do now. It's getting more popular over here.
Yeah,
a little bit. Then we need Buying Sports, and then they'll enjoy the Rudy commentary, and then they'll get into it.
Here you go.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.